Happy International Sudoku Day. So the 9th of September, or September 9th, is International Sudoku Day, which really works well when you have a 9x9 grid. Hi, and welcome to Joy in Celebrating, where we take a look at everyday holidays looking for ways to share joy through inspiration, education, and fun. It was just over 3 years ago that I initially launched this channel, and now I want to relaunch it. Stay tuned to the end of the video and I'll talk a little more about that. So most of this video that you're going to see is actually part of a video that I made for a channel that really brings me joy. It's called Cracking the Cryptic. So in this video I've cut out a lot of the channel specific plugs, but Cracking the Cryptic have a variety of ways that you can celebrate International Sudoku Day and get your brain working. If they use it, I'll put a link below so you can see the full thing. If not, that's fine too. A lot of people, including myself, found the channel during the COVID lockdowns and trying to find ways to be entertained, and this was a way that, for me, was entertaining but also engaged my mind a little bit more than some of the regular fluff. The hosts of the channel, Mark and Simon, are incredibly gifted, world-class puzzle solvers. If you want to celebrate International Sudoku Day, highly recommend checking out the Cracking the Cryptic channel and some of the ways that they can provide to celebrate International Sudoku Day. In addition to classic Sudoku, where you have a 9x9 grid and have to put the numbers 1 through 9 in each row, column, and box, there's also some variant rules. The puzzle in this video actually includes a variant called a killer cage, as well as a little killer clue. This is a puzzle specifically made for International Sudoku Day. Really appreciate SSG putting this together. 9921 by SSG. If you want to try the puzzle, the link will be in the description below. The rules, normal Sudoku rules apply. 1 through 9, once each, across in each row, in each column, of course, and each box. Killer rules, if you're not familiar, are these are called the killer cages. Each cage has a number. All the numbers inside the cage have to add up to that number, and they can't repeat, which in this case doesn't really matter because all of the cages are inside each separate boxes. And then the little killer clues are the diagonals. So the numbers on the outside tell you how much they have to add up to along that diagonal. Those can repeat when the 9 goes across multiple boxes. And those are our rules. So the first thing that I saw really comes back to a secret that Mark and Simon sometimes will let people in on. And fortunately, I was lucky enough to be let in on this secret. That secret, of course, is that in each box, row, and column, since they have to have the numbers 1 to 9 once each, all of those numbers together add up to 45. So for me, first thing I saw was this 21 cage. So I'm not as good with numbers as Mark and Simon are, so I had to use my little cheat sheet. But it told me that 21 in 6 cages can only be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, which means that the others have to be 7, 8, and 9. And I'm not going to fill in the rest because that's overkill even for me. The next thing that I noticed was kind of this play up top between the killer cages and the little killer diagonals. So we've got a 9 box with 3, a 9 diagonal with 2, and they both share that box. So what does that mean? It means if we take that out, those two inside the cage are the same as this one cell outside on the little killer. To designate that, the way that I decided to mark that is that the one full cell is made up of the 2 parts of these partial colored cells. And again, we find kind of the same thing with this 21 cage. We've got 2 that are shared inside. So I'll mark the other 3 as partial, with the one that's shared full on the outside. And we do that again with this 9. Now this 9 is a little harder to mark because it does cross through the 21, and that adds all sorts of fun. But we know that is shared with those three. Yeah, so the full is made up again of the partial. But then I got a little stuck. All of these killer clues in the middle, they didn't make any sense. There's too many options. I couldn't figure that out. So then I started looking at the little killer clues over here on the left. With this 9, I started thinking, well, what could I put in there? I could put a number as high as 4 if I had... Let me just show you here. So I could put in a 4 as long as I then had a bunch of 1s and a 2, and that would add up to 9. But how do I know where that 4 goes along there? And it wasn't making any sense. Too many options for the other things. Fortunately, Discord server SSG comes to the rescue and suggested maybe these 9s don't play as nicely together as they could, or maybe there's some play between them. So by putting those two together, found that these diagonals both had to add up to 18. And when you start separating 18 and trying to figure out what numbers can go into 3 cells in 3 boxes, it quickly becomes apparent that the only thing you can do is make those 1s, 2s, and 3s. So with that, it was easy to see that the 9 now could only be made up of a 4 and 5. You'd see that this 9, with the other half being 1, 2, or 3, could only be 8, 7, or 6. This cell here in the middle of this 3-cell 9, depending on how you added it up, if you did like a 3 and a 1, then you needed a 5. If you did a 3 and a 2, you needed a 4. If you did the 1 and the 2, you needed a 6. And funny thing about this 21 is that then if you've got a 4, 5, or 6, the other two have to be made up of 7, 8, or 9. So then as I was looking around, I'm still messing with stuff. I put 1s, 2s, 3s, and 4s into this 9 diagonal. Why did I do that? Well, highest I could put is a 4, the 1, 1, 1, and 2. That would add to 9. It didn't necessarily make a whole lot of sense, but that was a possibility. And then I started looking at this. Oh, well, look, we can add that up. In this 9 cage, the best I can do is a 4, 5, and 6. And then one thing you can see right away is we've got a 4, 5 pair. Looking at that, so that can't be a 4. Looking at this cage again, if the best I can do here is a 4, I can't double a 4 in either of these places. I couldn't put a 4 in one of those cells and have the lowest be a 5, because I can't add a 0, so those can't be 4s. So with this square, could that be a 4? Well, if I get a 4, add a 1 and a 2 at the lowest, that's 7. That breaks here, so that can't be a 4 either. So now, if we look at this 3-cell cage 9, there are 3 combinations that make up 9 in 3 cells. And what was interesting to me about those, as I started looking at it, is that one combination has a 1 and a 2, another one has a 1 and a 3, and the other one has a 2 and a 3. So there's always 2 of these 3 numbers in this cell, or in this cage. Well, by having 2 of them here, and a 1, 2, 3 here, we now know that this cell can only have the 4. And that's interesting because now this 9 diagonal really can't be made up of a whole lot. Also, this cell that we know is made up of these other 3 starts out with a 4, and the highest I can go is a 6. So these 2 cells are both 1s. That is a 6. That makes this cell, or these 2 cells, a 1-2 pair, and we can take the 6 out. And without the 6, you don't need the 3 to make 9. And then I will remove the coloring to get that out of the way, since I don't need that anymore. If you're familiar with arrow Sudoku, I just thought of this again. This cell, the whole cell that we know is added up by these other 3, basically become like an arrow cell. With this being the circle and these 3 being an arrow. And same here. Circle with a 2 cell arrow. From here we can do some basic Sudoku. We've got 1s, so we can add a 1 down here in the bottom corner, which makes that a 2, and a 7 to get to our 9. This 2 knocks out the 1, and that's a 2. These obviously aren't a 1 and a 2. That's not a 2. And now this cell can only be a 3, which means we've got our 1, and that's starting to work its way up a little bit here. So now we know that the 1 is just across there. Clear up a little bit here with our pencil marks. Now looking back at the 3 cell combinations that we can make for 9, it's not possible, because of this 4, to have a 4 in here anymore. And what that leaves us with is 2 more options, both of which have a 1. Now because of the 1 here, the 1 here, the only place that 1 can go is right there. And what does that mean? We've got a option for a 2-6 or a 3-5 here. Well, there's a 2 and a 6 here, so that's not it. So that has to be a 3-5, a 3-5, but then with that, of course, we get our 5 and our 3, add our 2 here. Now we're down to a 1-3 pair. The next question I want to ask is, where does the 2 go? Got a couple of 2s that mean that the 2s could theoretically only go here, but in a 21 cage, if you had 2, that means 2 cells adding up to 19, and that doesn't work when you can only use 9s. So 2 can't go down in the 21 cage. It has to go up here, and with our 3s in box 4 and 5, this becomes a 2-3 pair, putting our 2 in box 5 down in the lower left. Again, consulting our chart, 21 with a 3, with 3 cells. There's no place for a 5 here. We've got a 5 required in the 21 cage. And the only combination we have open is 5-7-9, which allows us to fill in our 6-8. 7-9 over here. Another 6-8. The next thing I found going along this path was that I had 1s looking into the center of box 1. But as you'll remember with our markings here, I've got 2 cells that add up to this one. 1 and 0 doesn't work to add to 1. Breaks all sorts of rules. So, can put in a 1 in columns 2 and 3, which then become an X-wing, meaning 1s would have to be there or here, kind of in the form of an X. In columns 2 and 3, we can't have another one here, so that becomes a 3 and our 1. So we'll go ahead and clean that up a little. And then we have our 3s in column 3, column 2. So I know there's going to be a 3 over there. And now we can look at this killer clue again, a little killer, in our diagonal. And we're down to 1 spot. So we've got our 5, 6, 7, 8. That's our 1. Oops. Makes that our 2 and our 3. Get rid of that 1. Put that in. And all of our 1s are done. I've noticed a couple more things. I didn't clean up a 7 here on my pencil marks because of that 7. And then we've got our killer clue here. So we've got our 5. We need to add 4 to, which looks up into our 9. Get our 5 and 4. Now I'm looking at this spot in the 9 with some interest. We've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that all look up here. The lowest we can go here is 6. On the diagonal to add to 9, I can't put a 1 or a 2. The lowest I can do is a 3. If I go any higher or any lower, it's going to break. So that is our 3. That is our 6. Clean up some pencil marks to look at this column here since we've got most of it. We've got our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so 7, 8, 9. These are our pencil marks. We've got our 7, 9, 7, 8, 9, which gives us a triple down here in box 7. So we've got a 5, 6 pair, which immediately looks back up here, gives us our 8 and a 6. Clean that up, which means that there's an 8 here, 4 and 8, 6, 7, 9. But we've got a 6 and a 7 looking in there. If you're wondering, for the record, this is a lot harder than Mark and Simon make it look. So, thank you, Mark and Simon, for how amazing you do, no matter how many times people yell at you for things that you're missing along the way. And with our 2 different ways, the 9 cage as probably expected, and our little de facto arrow, we can put in our 2 with these 2s, ID 2 and 6 actually, so that's a 2, 6 pair. I did do this earlier, but as I'm going along I'm also finding it all again, so thank you for your patience with me. I'm going to look at my 21 and 5 combination. I've got a 1, 2, 6. 4, 8, and a 5, 7 are the possibilities for those last 2 spots. 21 and 3. Oh, of course. So looking at the 21 and 3 coming this way, you can't have a 2 because that leaves, again, 19 for the other 2 spots. So 6 and 2, and then back to the 21 and 3, 6 and a 7, 8 combo. Make this either a 4 or a 5. All right, again, we're going to look at a 21 diagonal, and with a 4, the only option is a 4, 8, 9. We'll be able to reach 21, and as you can see, we've got the 8 pencil marked in such a way that on that diagonal it can only be here. So there's our 8, 9, 7, 9, 7, 8. Take that 8 out. Okay, I just cleaned up a little bit of color here as well, and then I just noticed the 2 looking down into our 21 box that we had to do 1 through 6. And since that means the 2 has to come over here. Locate that. Gives us our 3 and a 2. And I believe our 2's are done. 3 can go there, and then we get a 3 up in the corner. And as we know, a 3 in the corner is also a 3 in the spotlight, which is losing its religion. And last 3, we've got our 7's here looking across to give us another 7. In the box. We've got 9. Let's see, clean up the pencil mark. Alright, so now in column 9, we've got a 5-9 pair. And the 5-9 pair also goes across row 2, which gives us our 4. And as we did the little mini arrow, and also as we do our little adding in the box, we've got our 7 and 8. Gives us a 4, 7. I'll clear up the coloring so that doesn't bother anyone like me. That 7 looks down to the 5. Our 9, 7, 5, 9, 5, 4, 9, 7, 6, 7, or 8 from the 4 looking down, 4, 5, so 6, 8, 6. So here we've got the 6 above it and a 5, 6 in the row. So there's our 5, 6, 5, 4, 6, 4, 8, 8, and 5. And 9. That's basically how the puzzle's done. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you tried it. I wish all of you a happy International Sudoku Day. And I'd also like to give a special thanks to Mark Klett, who let me use his electric guitar version of Mozart's 16th Sonata, the theme for Cracking the Cryptic. When I started this channel 3 years ago, I wanted this channel to be a source of inspiration and joy for people. Because of pressures that I put on myself to get a video out every day and things that were happening in life, it became a talking head video, kind of like this. I see the irony. But that's not what I want for this channel. I don't want to be bored standing in front of a camera just talking, and I don't think you want that either. As I said towards the beginning of the video, I want to spread joy through inspiration, education, and fun. And so what does that look like? What I have in mind right now is something along the lines of how it's made, finding out things behind the scenes. Kind of like the Mr. Rogers Crayon Factory tour that I remember so well watching when I was younger. I want there to be inspiration through service and getting to know people and situations better. If we do World Cancer Day, I don't want it to just be me talking about cancer. Maybe you're familiar with Some Good News that John Krasinski did during the lockdowns. I want something more like that, something inspirational. And I want this channel to be more of a community. Something where not just me and my family are sharing these fun holidays, but you as well. So when I ask at the end of a video, what are you celebrating today? I'm not just asking, I want to know. If there's something that brings you joy and you want to share, I would love to hear about it. Let's take any opportunity that we have to find joy today, whether that's celebrating one of the daily holidays or not. There's good in every day. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.